apologies to everybody who's here. My video won't seem to come on, so you won't have a face to my name. But thank you all very much for joining us this evening. I hope you're all doing okay and you've coped okay in the heat after the last couple of days. So I just wanted to introduce us very briefly to you. So I'm Gemma. I'm the manager of the payment plan team within Lloyd Whyte, and I'm going to be doing the webinar with my colleague Simon, who some of you may have met before. He's our account executive within the payment plan team as well, so deals with a lot of our relationship management. So first of all, I just wanted to go through a quick agenda of what we're going to go through today. So first of all, I'm just going to run through a quick introduction with regards to Lloyd Whyte as a whole, then move on to NHS Conversions, some of the concerns around that and how payment plans can assist with regards to NHS Conversions and transitions as well. And then we'll be going on to reviewing your plan and your current provider. And bulk transfers, so basically with regards to what a bulk transfer is and how it can be used and how effective they are when moving from one provider to another. So that will follow on quite nicely after the review section. And then we'll move on to some of the potential cost savings from the reviewing of the plan and the provider, and also the bulk transfer process as well. And we'll just finish off with some questions. So if you do have any questions throughout, obviously you can use the chat function and we'll try to answer them, but we will have a question section at the end that we'll allocate some time to, so that you'll be able to ask us anything that we've ran through today. So I'll just go into the introduction now. So like I said, some of you may know who we are. You may have spoken to us with regards to payment plans before, but you may have spoken to us about some of the other products that we offer as well. So Lloyd Whyte have been a partnership with the BDA for over 20 years now. We offer a range of bespoke services to BDA members, and that consists of personal insurances, commercial insurances, and financial planners as well. We are a corporate chartered insurance broker and also a chartered financial planner as well. So, today we're talking about the payment plan side, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of some of the other things that Lloyd Whyte do. And like I said, some of you may know us already. So next, I just wanted to move on firstly to NHS Conversions. Now, I'm sure that the majority of you will already know too well the concerns around NHS contracts within the dental industry at the moment. They are becoming more unfeasible. One thing I will say as a part of the webinar, if you do have any questions with regards to making the decision to convert away from the NHS or ending your NHS contract, that isn't something that we're going to be covering this webinar, but it's something the BDA will be able to help you with. So if you needed any contact details to speak to anybody about that, then I'd be more than happy to send those over after the webinar. Just let us know. But with regards to obviously the way that the industry is going, people are feeling that they are put into a position where they are having to consider moving away from their NHS contract, whether that be fully or partially, to make to sustain their business really. And obviously to be able to continue, one of the options is to move to either, like I said, fully private or partially. But that obviously comes with its concerns as well, particularly the transition, and especially if the practice is 100% NHS. So obviously this isn't listing all of them, but just some of the main concerns that we have spoken to practices about over the last couple of years, and particularly since the pandemic, when this has become more prominent, is obviously the loss of patients. So there's the concern that moving away from NHS is that patients won't move to the private side. So you will lose those patients and therefore there'll be a loss of income. So this is a concern. Obviously the NHS contract looking more unfeasible, then obviously you can't afford to lose those patients on the private side either. So we fully understand that that's quite a concern. as well as that is the transition workload. So you may have made the decision to move to private, or to begin to grow your private book more. But with that, everybody within the practice is incredibly busy as it is already, and there may be concerns around additional workloads. So administration around that, additional conversations with patients, knowing what the right thing to say is, how to communicate it as well, and just generally the unknown. So obviously it might be new territory for people within the practice or for yourselves. So it's just, there are some concerns around it. Payment plans are actually, many years ago, one of the reasons that they became quite popular was to bridge the gap between NHS dentistry and private dentistry, which is why I wanted to speak to you today about how payment plans can assist with those conversions, and hopefully put your mind at ease about some of the options that they have to be able to help with that. So one of the main things, and this, there may be various different options you're considering, and it might be that you've decided to, or you might be thinking about deciding completely ending your NHS contract and moving 100% private. You may have decided to continue with your NHS contract, but start to build your private book more slowly, so that you can gradually build it up in the aim that at some point you may decide to end your NHS contract. Or you may be looking to do it on a trial basis with a practitioner-led plan in place, so that you keep your NHS contract. One of the other practitioners or associates has a plan in place, so you can see how it goes, understand how it works, and just see how trial it within the practice and the patients that you have coming in. But whichever one you decided to look at, a payment plan can be really useful to assist with it. So one of the main reasons is that it makes it more affordable for NHS patients to actually be able to access private dentistry. So it may be something that NHS patients don't know is available to them. They might not know there's an option to spread the costs out. One of the things that we often speak to practices about is considering the plans that are offered during the conversion. So Simon will be going through the review of the plans and provide some more detail later. But one of the things that can quite often help is providing or offering a plan that may be a lower cost one, rather than having 2 checkups and two hygienists a year on a maintenance plan. It may be that there's 1 checkup and 1 hygienist a year, which might not be the ideal plan for the patient to go on to. At the moment, maybe they require more, but it may mean that they have an affordable option to move over to initially. And this gives them an area to move over. They can pay monthly, spread the cost, and also receive dentistry at normally a discounted rate, and also receive the additional benefits as well, such as the worldwide accident and emergency insurance, discounts off of other treatments as well. And it's reassuring to patients. Obviously, your patients come to you, they trust you as a practitioner and a practice. They don't want to move away from the practice, and actually gaining access to NHS dentistry anywhere else is going to be troublesome for them. The wait lists are incredibly high, as you know, so they're unlikely to be able to get into another NHS dental practice to have treatment. So this is reassuring to them that they have another option, which means that they can stay with the practice they know, with a practitioner that they know, and also still receive the treatment that they require as and when as well. And obviously it just bridges the gap, so it allows you, rather than having that, the stopgap of when you finish the NHS contract and move to private dentistry, this is a way of ensuring that patients are moving over on a very consistent, regular basis, that you're able to track as well along the way. So you'll be able to, rather than your patient saying to you, yes, I will move over, I'll come onto a private next time I come in, or need to come in for an appointment, that they've signed up onto the plan, that you've retained that patient, and you also know that you're going to be getting a regular income from them immediately from the following month, as soon as their plan starts. So the whole process is a lot more streamlined. It's more consistent. You have more peace of mind and reassurance knowing who's moved across and who hasn't. which all in all will provide more stability in the whole process, but also for the practice as well. So having a plan in place will provide you with that regular income, so you know you'll have a guaranteed cash flow coming into the practice every month. The more successful your plan is, the more people that come onto your plan, obviously the higher that cash flow will be coming into the practice, which then allows you to plan for the future as well. So, you know, you can have set goals which your provider will be able to help you to achieve. You'll be able to plan in the short term and the long term as well. So whether it just be that you may want to have a little bit of time off in the summer over Christmas, or that actually you're retiring for something bigger or an unknown entity, something like the pandemic, for hopefully that won't ever happen again, but something like that it's an unknown, and it allows you to have a guaranteed income coming into the business as well. Could I go on to the next slide? Thank you. So all of those things that I've just run through, obviously you may be aware of some of those things, and it's still quite a daunting process to go through them, which is why I really want to emphasize the importance of utilizing the help that your provider will be able to offer you with regards to NHS conversions. So when you have made the decision and it is something that you want to do, then speak to your provider about what assistance that they can help you with and what guidance that they can give. It will be something that they will have dealt with before. They will have been through this process with other practices. They will know hints and tips on what has worked, what hasn't worked so well. They'll also be able to give you advice and assistance on things such as communication content. So this is probably one of the most important parts that we found in the process, is providing assistance with communication. So we always say that it's really important to keep it clear, concise, and to the point, while still remaining empathetic, and keeping it in line and tailored to your patients who you know best. Sometimes if a letter is too wordy or it has too much information around it, the main message within that communication is missed. And there's lots of other forms of communication as well, that you can put out, social media, on your website, within the practice, and that comes in line with the literature. And these are all things that your provider should be able to help you with. So not only should they be able to help you with some of the design around those and some of the wording for it, but also advice around what would work and helping you put that together, and tailor it to you as a practice and to your patients, really, so that there's a really positive message given out. And I think that's really important, is that when speaking to your patients with regards to this, it's about putting a positive message around the conversion and around the move to private dentistry, so that they feel that it's a really beneficial move for them as well. So these are things that your provider will be able to help you with. They'll be able to provide training as well. So you may already, if you have a plan in place already, say for example you had part NHS, you were mixed part NHS, part private, they may know how to process the plan. But actually this may entail different types of conversations, and you want to be able to bring it into conversation in different ways and different messaging, and different processing. So it's worth speaking to your provider about maybe getting some training for everyone within the practice, really, about the conversations that can be had with patients with regards to this, how to put their mind at rest, and hopefully that will give some peace of mind to the people that you have within the practice as well, because they may be concerned about having to speak about it or passing that message across. So it will help them feel more confident in the way that they are talking to patients with regards to it as well. So yeah, really utilize their previous experience, really utilize any assistance that they can provide with the literature as well, and the transitions, and that goes on to the reporting as well. So when you are going through a conversion, one of the things you want to know on a regular basis is where you are with that conversion, how many people you've had sign up to the plan, how many people you're still waiting for, and the reporting is something that your provider will be able to give to you and on a regular basis, and keep you informed so that you're fully in the loop of the conversion that's going on. And that's really important as well, because it may be that it's a process that needs to be reviewed and monitored regularly. So after the the initial communication, there may need to be some more communication, just to re-emphasize what's going to be happening, and how patients can, you know, move across to an affordable payment plan. And that's another thing that my colleague Simon will go into a bit more as well, is with regards to the reporting and how you can keep on top of that management of it as well, and as your plan as a whole. But I'm just going to move over to my colleague Simon now, and he's going to go into some details with regards to review of your provider, and also the plan that you have in place. So I'll pass over to you, Simon.
Thanks, Gemma. Good evening, everyone. So as Gemma's just been going into a bit more detail about NHS conversions, I'm going to move on to bulk transfers in a minute as well for those of you that already have plans in place. But the vital area for preparation for NHS conversion or a bulk transfer is, first of all, reviewing what you've got in place. And those that already have plan is running is reviewing that plan, and also your provider that you're currently using. Are you utilizing them best of all? Are you getting value for money for them as well? So it's broken down into a few different areas, first of all. And the first is services. It is vital that you review the services you're currently offering with each plan, and also have a think about, if you are doing an NHS conversion and plans are new to you, about what services you would like to include. Yes, it's good to review the market and see what competitors are doing, but you know, you might want to take a different approach to some of the services that you're offering in plans, and that's where a plan provider will step in and give you their experience within the market. They can advise you on generally what patients need in regards to a plan, whether it's going to be maintenance plans, hygiene plans, or whether you're looking to go down the full care plan route. Your provider will be able to go through the pitfalls and advantages for each one of those plans. As we're seeing more in the market today, care plans aren't as popular as they used to be, purely because the amount of work that's involved. Patients have to be regularly reviewed to make sure they're in the right categories. So maintenance plans, I think, are starting to become a lot more popular option for practices, and also patients as well, because it rewards patients if they are regularly being seen and getting checked and having their hygiene appointments. Then the potential need for treatment is significantly less. So going hand in hand with that is their monthly payment. It would be less than what it is on a care plan. But these are all things that your provider or potential provider can help and advise on. Do these plans offer value to patients? Are they competitively priced? Speak to your team and even your patients, whether it's NHS patients or whether it's patients that are already on a plan that you've got running. Get some feedback from them. Feedback is vital, and its input from others will give you the information on whether your plan is delivering or what you want it to do. If it's not now, if you haven't got the tools, or you don't think you've got the tools in place to make a good run of the plan, that's a concern that you need to bring up with your provider. A lot of the providers offer the full services now that starts to launch of the plan to regularly the day-to-day running of the plan. They have the full support in place for you, and can help manage, run, and support your plan from day one. So it's key to speak to your existing provider, or if it's a brand new plan and you're looking at NHS conversions, to speak to the provider and find out exactly what assistance they offer. Because different providers in the market, although generally the overall concept of the plan and the support that's on offer is the same, there are different aspects or additional aspects that some providers offer that others don't. So it's key, if you are looking at doing an NHS conversion and plans are going to be brand new to you, is don't just talk to the first provider. I bet my experience, I always say to potential clients that I'm speaking to is speak to several. Not one provider is the best for everyone, so you can find the best provider that works best with your practice ethos and how you want to run things moving forward. Okay. Annual price reviews are vital, not just for your fee per item list when you're looking at NHS conversions and becoming a full private practice, but it's also when you're looking at on a plan basis as well. alongside reviewing the services on offer and making sure there is value for your patients, it is just as important to regularly review what you charge on these plans to make sure they are priced correctly and profitable for you, especially given the current climate. Implementing an annual price increase keeps the pricing up to date and possibly prevents bigger increases further down the line. We had one practice a few years ago that hadn't reviewed their pricing for several years. So when we finally got round to getting that implemented with them, the increase was massive and a difficult conversation to justify to patients about the increase. So regular review of your prices will prevent this and any hard conversations that you can have. As you can imagine, this year, from our experience, has been the busiest year ever on a plan for price reviews that we've ever seen. A good provider will be able to offer guidance with review of the pricing and also assist with the implementation of a price increase from start to finish. So again, that's a good question to bring up with any potential provider, is what assistance they do offer in regards to annual reviews, implementation of price increases, and what they can assist with you. Like I say, most providers will help do that, but a lot of providers will draft these letters for you, or these communications, and obviously give that back to you. So there's minimal work that you would have to do on your side. Most providers will take that on and do that for you. So marketing. What marketing have you done around an NHS conversion or launching a plan? It's vital to get the message right before you obviously start communicating that out to your patients. From a Lloyd and Whyte side of things, we've worked with loads of practices over the past 18 months, getting the messaging in regards to social media communications, emails, all these letter communications going out to their patients to advise them of the NHS conversion. So it's good to have not only just the plan promotional literature in the practice, it's key to make sure the messaging you're getting across all your board from that initial communication to your social media posts is exactly how you want that to be communicated. Like I say, your providers should give you obviously templates that you can work to, give you wording that they've used for other practices, but obviously they'll look to work with you to make sure you get that right. They can then help and advise as well on what messaging to include. Based on other conversions that we've done, we've got experience on what has worked well, and what necessarily hasn't worked well. So that advice can be key in getting that messaging right to you to get the most out of your NHS conversion. So definitely utilize your plan provider. They will be able to offer the advice and generally have the tools to assist you with all types of marketing when it comes to the NHS conversions or the launch of a new plan. Training requirements are key with any aspect of this, but obviously having the training in place and all of your staff on board with that prior to implementing any of this is absolutely vital. Plan providers, not all plan providers, but most plan providers will obviously come into the practice, or they utilize online training sessions where they will go through the whole process from start to finish of what's involved with conversions or plan launches. They will then also, within that plan training session, run through the whole process of signing patients up, how that works, the administration of plans, and what's required at practice level in regards to aiding a conversion and signing patients up to plans. A key element of that training session as well will be in the communication to the patients at practice level. So when the patients are in practice, how can they get the benefits of moving over to become a private patient or moving over to become a plan patient within everyday conversation. So it's about talking about spreading the cost of private dentistry into 12 affordable monthly payments, giving access to services and discounts fee per item patients or NHS patients don't get in regards to worldwide accident emergency insurance, and discounts on additional private treatments. So they're key things that tend to get covered in training. How the benefits of being a plan patient can be communicated in the right way without becoming too pushy to the patient, but it's making it obvious that they would benefit from being on the plan rather than a fee per item patient. So those training sessions are always included. From a Lloyd and Whyte side of things, most plan providers do it as well, but there's also top-up training sessions that are available that we offer. So that could be if you have a changeover of staff, or a couple of months into a conversion or a plan launch, and things are starting to plateau a little bit, or you're starting to get some patient objections, then obviously speak to your provider and organise a top-up training session. Keeping your staff motivated and at the forefront of their minds about a plan and the benefits of it will obviously aid with any conversion as well, because as long as your staff are talking about it and communicating it to your patients, then the conversion levels do go up and up. Okay, so the key thing in regards to all of this is to regularly review set targets, but regularly also review them and the goals and the processes. If you did set a target at the start, have you achieved them? If not, can you identify why you haven't? If you can make sure that you address any issue that you think's hampered or reduced conversion, or the sign up level to a plan, then it could just be a single training issue or the result of several things like not working, confusing literature, poor pricing of the plan, marketing not being a consistent messaging out to patients. So if you can identify certain things that you think aren't working and speak to your plan provider, they can obviously give you advice on what's been working really well with other practices. Reviewing your plan in full with your provider can help address poor performance and help make sure you achieve targets and goals moving forward. So moving on to a bulk transfer side of things, this is for obviously any practice that has already got a plan in place. So first of all, what is a bulk transfer? If you have a plan in place, bulk transfer is a seamless, risk-free way to move your plan from one provider to another. In years gone past, the only way to transfer a plan would be to arrange for every one of your patients on plan to rejoin the plan by filling out and returning a paper agreement form. This was a laborious and potentially risky way to move your plan. So in times gone past, a lot of practices stayed with the provider they were with, even if they didn't particularly want to. Bulk transfer, which came in a couple of years ago, allows you to hand your notice in with your existing provider, which is normally a 3-month period. Then at the end of that notice period, all of your existing patients' direct debits will be moved seamlessly over to the new provider without the patient having to do anything. It is very, very beneficial, as it now gives you, the practice, full control over your plan and the potential to save costs on provider charges. You can take advantage of additional services offered by providers, which they may offer, without having to risk losing plan patients within the transition. So basically how it works is, first of all, you just need to hand your notice in with your existing provider. Your new provider will work with you prior to this to get the patient communication ready, and they will also provide you with a letter of notice that you would give to your existing provider. The letter of notice will include all key dates regarding the collections, and also give them the key contacts of your contact who will be dealing with the transfer on your behalf. This will then be sent along with the bulk deed to your current provider, and once they've acknowledged the letter to your new provider, the patient communication will then get sent out advising your patients of why you're changing, on the reasons around you changing, and that's normally from taking control of future price increases, enhancing certain aspects of the plan benefits, which some insurance, worldwide accident and emergency insurance add-ons that you have in there. So different providers offer different levels, so that can be communicated as an enhancement to the patient. But in that communication as well, it confirms that the patient doesn't need to do anything. They'll just be moved over from such and such date, and from that date, it will be new provider's name of who will be collecting it. So all in all, the transition is a very straightforward way. At the end of the 3-month notice period, all of your direct debits will be collected from your new provider as normal, and moving forward, you'll just receive the monthly reports from your new provider. Along each step within that 3-month notice period, your account management or business development contacts for your new provider will obviously keep you updated with what's happening in regards to it. But ultimately, there's very minimal work that you have to do in regards to a bulk transfer. It's handing in your notice. Your account executive or business development manager will step in and work with your existing provider to make sure everything is as seamlessly and as straightforward as possible. Okay, bulk transfer is a very straightforward, no hassle and risk-free way to make savings on existing plan provider administration charges. And what I'm just going to move on to the next slide to show you some real examples of savings some practices have made by switching. This is from a Lloyd and Whyte side of things. So I don't want to speak on other providers' behalfs because obviously we don't always have access to pricing, but these are real life examples of just 3 practices that have moved to us this year. So first of all, you can see the number of patients these practices have moved across, what they were previously paying, what their new fee was with Lloyd and Whyte, and you can see the monthly savings, annual savings, and the 5-year savings. So the potential savings for a practice are huge. And with hand in hand with bulk transfer, making it or giving it access to those savings has never been easier. So I applaud anyone who already has a plan in place just to make sure they review your plan. You might be happy with your current provider, which a cost saving aspect might not even come into it. But as the current climate that we're in, where everyone is getting pushed on the financial side, business costs are going through the roof as well. If there's a potential to save money further down the line on a plan by moving your plan provider who's offering exactly the same services, then surely that should be something that could potentially be explored. Well, I'm just going to quickly move on to finally, which is a portal. It's an in-practice portal, and many providers do offer these portals. And one thing I will say about portals is whichever provider you go to is how beneficial a plan portal can be for you in regards to managing an NHS conversion, but also managing bulk transfers or a plan on a day-to-day basis. What these portals offer are a quick patient sign up. So it's a paperless way to sign patients up. It gives you the tools and access to administer patients on a day-to-day basis. It gives you full reporting tools and also 24/7 access to your plan. I'm just going to move over just so I can give you an idea of what these plans, these portals look like. Okay, it should be a web page. This is an example of Lloyd and Whyte's portal. This is just a demo one, but it's as simple as a web-based portal, so it's accessible from any tablet or computer within the practice. So you can log in, and a lot of these portals are very similar. They all obviously have different layouts and different formats, but ultimately the functionality remains quite similar. The first option is a new agreement. So this is signing a new patient up to the plan. Like I say, this is a full live system, so it's just a matter of filling out the patient's name, address, contact information. Select the dentist they're under the care of, which plan they would be joining. Then you enter their account details. And the benefit of adding a patient via a portal in regard to when you're comparing to a paper form is a lot of these portals will run modulus checks in the background as well. Okay, so as you type in the patient's account details, it will run a check and tell you if the direct debit information that the patient has given you is correct, and you're able to collect a direct debit from there. You can then select get the patient to read the direct debit guarantee, read the terms and conditions in regards to the plan, and then you can process the application straight away. This portal is like I say, as it's a web-based, you can open it up on a tablet and you can hand the tablet to the patient and they can fill out their own details. You can verbally take the information from a patient over the phone, or if they have filled out a paper form in practice, one of your team members in the practice can then key it straight onto the portal, so you don't have to post or scan and email the form across to your provider. And the benefit of processing it straight away, as soon as you've processed the patient and they're live on the system, they're live on plan, so you can go straight in then and view patients that are on your plan. The client screen on our page will list every single patient you have on plan, but it also then gives you the ability to view that patient, all of their contact information, and it will then give you the administrative tools at the bottom as well. So whereas all providers have help desks where you can obviously call through or email through any administrative changes or any admin queries you've got, these portals are becoming more and more popular than ever before, because it's basically empowering you at practice level to view your plan patients 24/7. If a patient does come in and they've seen the dentist and the dentist advised them that they need to be moved to a different plan, you can log straight into the portal and move them over straight away without any delay. You can view all direct debit histories as well, and you can cancel patients as well. So what it does is aid the support your plan providers can give you at help desk level. We've got a lot of practices that like to use both. If they're really busy and they haven't got time to make any changes, they can ring through to a help desk and get it done that way. Or if we've got a lot of practices now that do pretty much all of their administration themselves from the portal. The final aspect of plan portals is obviously where you can view your monthly reports from. So you can go down, as it's a secure website, instead of having your reports emailed across to you, where potentially they could go astray or be accessed by some people. What you can do, what we do at Lloyd and Whyte side, is we just only ever upload your reports to your secure portal. So you'll receive a communication to say your reports is ready to be reviewed. You can then log in to your secure portal and download which one you want to review. You also have additional report functionality as well. So a date specific report, for example. So if you want to see how your plan has grown throughout, say, the first quarter of the year, or if you need to get the plan financials for the tax period, you can then obviously put in the specific dates that you want the plan financials for. Then you can download the report. So it instantly is giving you the tools and the functionality to get any information in regards to the plan financials that you may need. Okay, so that's a quick look at our portal. But like I say, every provider these days, or not every provider, majority of providers do offer a portal in some format. Some do offer different functionalities, so some might not have the ability to view patients and make administrative changes, but that's a conversation that you can have with any potential provider that you're talking to. So that's everything that myself and Gemma wanted to run through. We wanted to get through in about 40 minutes. We're just running just a bit under that, just so we can leave time for some questions if anyone does have any. So please feel free to ask away, or if there's any questions that you want to type into chat, then please do so now.
Simon, are you able to turn our cameras on from your? I think it has to be the host that puts them on.
Bear with me. Got mine. Hi there.
No, it still won't let me add mine. I've got Simon to look at though.
Unfortunately. Has anyone got any questions at all?
No. If anybody does have any questions after this, or they think of anything afterwards, then do feel free to contact either Simon or myself, and we'd be happy to run through a separate session if you wanted something more individual, or you wanted some specific information regarding your practice. Then do let us know, because we'd be more than happy.
I've just had one come through, Gem. It's Thank you, Zoe. It's, can this be used for orthodontic payments? Obviously can't speak for other providers, but from a Lloyd and Whyte side of things, yes. We can set up and administer any type of plan that you would like. So if it is an orthodontic plan that you would want to set up, that's absolutely fine. We have practices run only hygiene plans. We have other practices that do specialist perio plans as well. So it's effectively having that conversation with your plan provider, see if they can. From a point of view, for me, it would be you'd sit down with me, advise on the services you'd want to include in the plans. Then obviously you'd give me your fee item prices, and I could work out where I think the price for that plan should sit. So yes, we can.
I think the reason you don't see too many orthodontic ones is because a lot of the patients that come across are on referral, so they're only there for a short period of time. But as Simon said, there's no reason why we couldn't do that.
Yeah, the only difference is obviously with the orthodontic ones, if there is a set period of time where they potentially could be at your practice, then we just need to make sure certain services or amount of services aren't released all together at once, and they are staggered. So obviously payments are, some of it's prepaid before the patient has any treatment. They're obviously covering it, and there's wording that we put in the contract without going into too much detail now to protect you as a practice as well. Okay, I've got another question that's just come through. Thank you. Is how long the whole process takes? I presume that's from setting up a plan from start to finish. The process on average takes about 2 to 3 weeks from a Lloyd and Whyte side of things. The quickest we ever had a plan start to finish is 5 days. Sometimes they can take a bit longer than the 2 to 3 weeks. The main factor that can prolong a launch of a plan is finalizing the plan literature, because obviously we give you templates when it comes to your plan literature at start. So you pick a template, our designers will then create that a draft for you, including all of that plan information. So that then comes back for you to review. Then if you want to make a lot of changes, and we can have several different drafts, that can sometimes drag the period out. But if we're looking at 1 or 2 drafts, the creation of the portal and everything at our end, generally that would take on average is 2 to 3 weeks. Okay.
There's another one which is with regards to the beginning of the journey. I need more staffing to manage this. Is that with regards to the NHS conversion or a payment plan set up for that one? I mean, with the NHS conversion, I mean, Simon will have some input on this as well, because he regularly speaks to practices with regards to it. If you are working with a payment plan provider to have that NHS conversion, then you are likely to have more phone calls or queries about it, but they will be in the short term. So I wouldn't necessarily think that you would need more staffing on a longer term basis. It would just be to answer any queries that anybody has. A lot of the administration side of it will be dealt with by your payment plan provider. But if you wanted to speak in more detail with regards to that, then we'd be able to arrange a review meeting with you to go through in more detail.
Yeah, I mean, we've done various sizes of NHS conversions and bulk transfers as well, and these are from very small practices to larger practices as well. As long as the messaging is right from an NHS conversion point of view in that initial letter, obviously there's a set time period before that NHS contract ends. So what it can sometimes enable you to do is advise the patient that this is what's going to be happening in whatever set period of time, and this can be discussed further at their next appointment. So when they're in for the checkup, you can say, obviously, this is the last checkup that you'll be having on the NHS. These are your options moving forward. So it can be a potential influx of phone calls and people at the practice asking questions can sometimes be managed by obviously getting that communication right in the letter as well. Okay. So we've got another question there on can I contact to discuss this further?
I'm just going to put our contact emails in there, but we will send an email out tomorrow just to everybody who's on, just to confirm our contact details. I think there was one before, Simon. How do I know if my practice can convert? Was the one before?
For NHS conversion, I think the first port of call for that would be Gemma. I'm correct in saying speaking to the BDA, who can offer good advice on looking at your current NHS contract and what options you've got moving forward. So that's the best advice I can give on that is speak to the BDA in regards to initial NHS conversion talks. Once you found out if and when you can convert, then obviously the next step would be to speak to a plan provider, and we can then set out a time frame of how long a normal conversion or a reasonable time to get that implemented up and running and converted.
We got any more? Not at the moment. If anybody has, as I said earlier, any questions, we will arrange for an email. We've got everybody's email address from this evening anyway. So what we'll do is we'll just send a follow-up email tomorrow, and that will give you both of our contact details. So if you have any other questions, or you wanted to speak or arrange a review call, then do just contact one of us and we'll be able to book that in with you. But thank you ever so much for all of your time this evening. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening and week.
Thank you very much.